Hey, 42 here. Let's take a look at what's going on in Syria. Many North African and Middle Eastern countries are ruled by an iron fist. Governments that pretend to be democracies but display strong dictatorship qualities and oppress change. In recent years, there has been a sudden influx of mass demonstrations in these Arab countries attempting to overthrow their corrupt rulers. It's called the Arab Spring, and it was all started in Tunisia in 2010 by a single fruit and vegetable seller named Mohamed Bouazizi, after he set himself on fire in protest of the government. The Tunisian revolution subsequently inspired other Arab nations across North Africa and the Middle East to protest, notably Egypt. Syria is the latest to jump on the revolutionary bandwagon. Syria has been ruled by the same Syrian family, the Assads, since 1971. Their political party is the Ba'ath Party. The current Syrian president Bashar al-Assad has been in power since 2000. In the last referendum in 2007, Bashar al-Assad was the only candidate securing his presidency for another 7-year term. Seems fair. Sick of the Assad's tight regime, on the 15th of March 2011, Syrian civilians started their own Arab Spring protest, which quickly gained momentum and evolved into the Syrian civil war. In July 2011, the Free Syrian Army was formed, an umbrella group representing the Syrian rebels. In April 2011, the Syrian government's army was deployed to stop the uprising in its tracks. Soldiers fired on demonstrators in towns and cities across the country. After months of military siege, the protesters got their hands on weapons of their own and started a full-scale armed rebellion consisting of defected soldiers and civilian volunteers. Syrian allies Russia and Iran supply the government with weapons, whilst Qatar and Saudi Arabia provide the rebels with their weaponry. The death toll has now surpassed 100,000, half of which are civilians, including both rebels and innocent bystanders. The other half are Syrian army soldiers and 1,000 government officials. 1.8 million Syrians have fled the country to escape the violence. Tens of thousands of protesters have been imprisoned, and there are widespread reports of torture in the nation's prisons. The Syrian government and protesters have both been accused of severe human rights abuse. However, the United Nations investigations have concluded that the Syrian government's human rights abuse has been far greater. But the rebels aren't exactly saints either. Certain Syrian rebel groups have pledged loyalty to Al-Qaeda and beheaded numerous Christians. In January 2012, the Syrian army started to use large-scale artillery and tanks against the rebel army, which led to many civilian homes being destroyed because of indiscriminate shelling. By July 2012, the fighting had spread across the whole country, and the International Committee of the Red Cross declared the conflict a civil war. The fighting focused on Syria's capital city, Damascus. By late July, the government managed to push back the rebel forces in Damascus, and the focus of the war shifted to the city of Aleppo. A year later, and the bulk of the Syrian civil war still revolves around Aleppo. So what's the latest news on the Syrian conflict? Well, the rebels and Western governments have accused the Syrian government of using chemical weapons in attacks that killed more than 1,429 people near Damascus, 426 of which were children. One of the bombs was dropped onto a school playground. The use of chemical weapons is strictly outlawed by international law. The Syrian government have said the rebels were behind the chemical attacks. However, according to the US government, the rockets were only launched from government-controlled areas and only aimed towards opposition-controlled areas. On the 30th of August, British Prime Minister David Cameron was defeated in the House of Commons in a vote to join the US in strikes against Syria in order to deter the use of chemical weapons. Therefore, Britain will not be involved in any military action in Syria. The US is a bit miffed with this decision, but they have said they will continue to consult with the UK, one of their closest allies. Obama has said the US will be responding to the use of chemical weapons in Syria, but he stated there will be no quote-unquote boots on the ground. In other words, Many skeptics are against the use of military action in Syria, fearing it may be a repeat of Iraq. 60% of the United States public says the US government should not take military action against Syria. Many fear such an attack could lead to World War III. Syria has said it will use quote-unquote all means available to defend itself if the United States attacks, which could include terror attacks in the US itself. Russia have sent their most advanced anti-ship missiles to Syria. If one of those sinks a US vessel, it would sure to escalate matters to a whole new level. There is a very good chance that if the US attacks Syria, Syria will attack Israel. Israel have said it would respond to any attack forcefully, which would surely spell disaster. Iran's closest ally is Syria, and Iran aren't going to take lightly to any attack against Syria. Furthermore, an attack against Syria will seriously damage the United States' relationship with Russia. All of these factors and more could easily contribute to the start of the next World War. Really hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do more of these videos related to current affairs such as this. Thanks for watching, until next time.